Good day, everyone. So today, let's talk about the etch-to-etch crops scroll up the water spout. And we are the group two, and please allow us to present our topic. Once again, good day. Okay, let's talk about first the weed control practices. So the technique of soil tilling and herbicide application is an example of how farmers control weeds in their farms. Second, apply broad spectrum or non-selective herbicides that are to further reduce weed growth just before their crop germinates. So the number three, uh, prevent their crops from being killed together with the weeds. And lastly, the weeds that emerge during the growing seasons are controlled using narrow spectrum or selective herbicides.
Good day, everyone. So, development of glyphosate and glufosinate herbicide tolerance plants. Herbicide tolerant or HT crop offer the farmers a virtual tool in the fighting weeds and are well compatible with no-till method, which preserve the topsoil. They give the farmers a flexibility to apply herbicides only they needed to control in total of herbicide and to use herbicide with preferred environmental characteristic. So, maybe mga extension, mga o di na mga na mo do sila tabangan sila o tagan sila mga advice na unsa paggamit yun ng herbicide no kay kung dili nimo matarong ang gamit ng herbicide kay pwede mamatay imong tanom o dili mamatay imong gusto pat yun nga weeds o madaot pa imong topsoil. So kani mga gaano nagatudlo sila gitatagaan sila proper nga pod nga unsa pag sa herbicide. That's all. Thank you.
Let's talk about the technology background. So the first question is, how do these herbicides work? So these herbicides target key enzymes in the plant metabolic pathway, which disrupt plant food production and eventually kill it. So since the enzymes being mentioned, so the glyphosate tolerance crops. So, no, the glyphosate herbicide kill plants by blocking the EPSPS enzyme. So, these enzymes involve the biosynthesis of aromatic amino acids. So, one of the strategy is to incorporate a soil bacterium gene that produce glyphosate tolerant form of EPSPS. So, in another way, these glyphosate and glufosinate HT crops work to incorporate the different soil bacterium gene that produce a glyphosate degrading enzymes. And the glufosinate tolerant crops also contain the active ingredients of posiponoctricin, which kills plant by blocking the enzymes responsible for nitrogen metabolism and for detoxifying ammonia of byproduct plant of metabolism. So, second question, why develop HT crops? So, what is new is the ability to create a degree of tolerance to broad spectrum herbicides, in a particular glyphosate and glufosinate, which is will control most and other green plants. So, because of these two herbicides are very useful, no, for weed control and minimal direct impact on animal life. Very effective, and this is a very safe to use because this is one of the product of the agrochemicals use. And as you can see here, it's a graph or a picture. So I really guess that this is also a connection between the HT crops. So that's the reason why I we decided to put this also. So as you can see in letter A, so the crop breeding by mutagenesis method. So from seeds to plants. Then crop. So letter B is the donor of the DNA, which is the crop improvement by transgenic technology. So the letter C is the crop genetic breeding through CRISPR or the Cas system. So letter D is the screening resistant plants with herbicides treatment. So that's the reason why we decided to put this picture also, because these also are related in HT crops. And that's all.
How do glyphosate and glufosinate HT crop works? So glyphosate herbicides kills plant by blocking the EPSPS. So there are several ways by which crops can be modified to be glyphosate tolerant. One strategy is to incorporate a soil bacterium gene that produces a glyphosate tolerant form of EPSPS. So glyphosate competitively inhibit EPSPS and plants die due to a lack of aromatic amino acids required for their survival. Glyphosate is also a systemic broad spectrum herbicide. So, another is next is glufosinate. Glufosinate tolerant crops contain the active ingredients phosphinotracin. Crops modified to tolerant glufosinate contain a bacterial gene that produces an enzyme that detoxifies phosphonotracin and prevents it from doing damage.
These are the advantages of herbicide tolerant crops. First is it is excellent weed control and hence creates a higher crop yields. Second, flexibility. It is possible to control weeds later in the plant growth. So it has the ability to suppress weeds at a later stage of plant development. Third, it reduced number of sprays in a season. So because again HT crops provide flexible weed control, it reduces numbers of spray in a season. Next is reduce fuel use. Because of less spraying, it then reduces fuel use. Reduce soil compaction. Because of less need to go on the land to spray, it reduces soil compaction. Next is the use of low toxicity compound which do not remain active in the soil. And lastly, the ability to use no-till or conservation till system with consequent benefits to soil structure and organism. That is why farmers are into HT crops because it has no-till method which helps preserve topsoils.
Good day, everyone. I am Shane Campbell and I'm going to report the current status of herbicide tolerance. From 1996 to 2018, HT crops constantly occupied the largest planting area of biotic crops. In 2018 alone, HT crops occupied 87.5 million hectares or 45% of the 191.7 million hectares of biotic crops planted globally. The most common are the glyphosate and glufosinate tolerant varieties. The following table shows countries that have approved major HT crops for food, feed, and or cultivation. First crop, alfalfa. Countries adopted Argentina, Australia, Canada, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, USA. Next, next crop, Argentine, canola. Countries adopted Australia, Canada, Chile, China, Europe, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, and USA. Next, carnation, adopted by the country Australia, Colombia, Europe, Japan, Malaysia. Next is chicory, adopted by USA. Next is cotton, adapted by Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Europe, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Paraguay, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, USA. Next, creeping bent grass, adapted by USA. Next, flax linseed, adapted by Canada, Colombia, USA. Next is maize, adapted by Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Europe, Honduras, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, Panama, Paraguay, Philippines, Russian Federation, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Switzerland, Taiwan, Thailand, Turkey, USA, Uruguay, Vietnam, and Zambia. Next is Polish canola, adapted by Canada. Next, potato, adapted by Australia, Canada, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Philippines, South Korea, and USA. Next is rice, adapted by Australia, Canada, Colombia, Honduras, Mexico, New Zealand, Philippines, Russian Federation, South Africa, and USA. Next is soybean, adapted by Argentina, Australia, Bolivia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Europe, India, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Nigeria, Paraguay, Philippines, Russian Federation, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Switzerland, Taiwan, Thailand, Turkey, USA, Uruguay, and Vietnam. Next is sugar beet, adapted by Australia, Canada, China, Colombia, Europe, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Philippines, Russian Federation, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and USA. Next, tobacco, adapted by Europe. But not the least, the wheat, adapted by Australia, Colombia, New Zealand, and USA. For the first 21 years of commercialization since 1996 to 2016, benefits from herbicide-tolerant crops are valued at US dollars 89.02 billion, 47.8% of global biotech crop value of US dollar 186.1 billion, and for 2016 alone at US dollars 8.44 billion, or 46.4% of global value of US dollars 18.2 billion. Next slide is pictures of HT crops. First, the alfalfa, Argentina canola, carnation, chicory, cotton, creeping bent grass, flax, linseed, maize, Polish canola, potato, rice, soybean, sugar beet, tobacco, and wheat. And that's all. Thank you.